All right, we are back. We are back. We're back. I'm sorry. Fixing something. Hey, we're back.
Kratz, there are
That's
a lot of
wrong. Hello. Welcome back to the show. Trevor May, Hour 2, Mayday. Let's get it. Yeah. Sorry. I have another fun thing to do, and I don't have the link to it because we are very disorganized today, and it's making me a little bit on the frustrated side. We are just leaving off. We are currently rating all of the trades from this year based on, or grading them anyways, from team to team, how everyone did at the trade deadline. And the way we're doing it is by factoring in how much better they got this season, okay? Oh my gosh, hold on. How much better they got this season based on the trades they made. So there's been 1,000 prospects thrown around. We don't know how good they are yet. We don't know how big of a value they're gonna have yet. So we're focusing mostly on the players they got at the big league level. And if we know a little bit of the prospects, I'll try to factor it in. But if we don't, we're gonna focus on the players that have played in the major league. Okay, now we're gonna get into the NL. We left off halfway through because it went a little bit long, so we'll go for the Mets. If you wanna watch the AL, go back. The full VOD will be up later. And this will be out as a video in a couple days as well. Or you can go back, Foul Territory, watch my first hour episode over there as well. It ends with the AL. So, sorry about the NL, but it's happening. It's happening, we're doing it. We're doing it right now. We're starting with the New York Mets. They added Gregory Soto. They needed left-handed relievers. Brooks Raley came back, and so did Gregory Soto, and now they have two. They added Cedric Mullins to help with center field because we've got Jeff McNeil running around out there, and he got a little pop and can do a little damage with the bat as well. I think that was a great pickup. Tyler Rogers is one of the best relievers and has been for the last 4 years, and Ryan Helsley. Again, phenomenal reliever, the closer. Now we have two iconic songs. They're turning off lights for their setup guy and their closer in Edwin Diaz and Ryan Helsley. That's a dominant bullpen. And then you add Reed Garrett, Ryan Stanek, already in there, already doing the job. Fortunately, they lost Jose Butto. He's gone too, and that's a whole thing. Blade Tidwell had to go. I think maybe they overpaid for a couple of these guys, but in terms of getting better or filling in the gaps that you need to fill in this season, well, I think they did a pretty good job of that. Now, there is a little part of me that's like, the Blade Tidwell hurts. Blade Tidwell hurts, and Jose Butto hurts too, because he's been doing really well. So I'd say they are better. It means they stayed the same. They are better than they were, but they did have to give up a little bit more to make this thing happen, which is very not David Stern-esque, but I still think they did the things they needed to do. They filled in the holes, the lefty relievers, the back-end guys to really end games, and Cedric Mullins to play great defense and maybe even add some pop as a left-handed stick. I think that those things are all going to make them better. Philadelphia Phillies now in second place. They added Johan Duran, Harrison Bader, and Matt Manning. Harrison Bader they have the worst center field production in the major leagues. Great defensive outfielders, cannot hit. He has been up around 800 OPS, a good right-handed stick. Harrison Bader, I think it was a good pickup. But what they really needed was a guy to finish the dang game because Jordan Romano just wasn't the answer to that question. Now they have Romano, Kerkering, and Strom in addition to Duran. Duran has been good since he's gone. I love those pickups. And in order to do it, they had to ship out McAble, though. So I didn't like that. I like McAble for a lot of reasons. You guys might be wondering, dude, why does he like this guy so much? Just trust me, bro. Trust me. That's what we do on this show. All right? So the Phillies get a B+. They're better. They needed a closer. If they want to win a World Series, they need a closer. And they have one. They needed one so bad, and they got arguably the best one that was out there. Outside, actually, he was the best one out there. I think Doval, Bednar, and Helsley are a step behind him. Just this year, he's been a little bit better. So I like that for them. Moving to the Miami Marlins, they picked up Ryan Gusto and Matthew Etzel, and they shipped out not McAble. Those are the wrong guys. Again, the graphic got freaking rendered wrong. Jesus Sanchez, Nick Fortes, so on and so forth. But we're focused on what they got on the team. Miami Marlins are The same team, though they did get a starter. Ryan Gusto is a starter. I think that they're going to live and die by their team. They didn't need to do a bunch, and I think they got some value for Jesus Sanchez moving forward. All right, Atlanta Braves picked up Tyler Kinley, Jim Jarvis, Carlos Carrasco, Eric Fetty, and Dane Dunning. That is a whole lot of weird right there. That is like a, hey, guys, you've been around for a while. You want to come play for the Braves? That's pretty much what we got in this situation. And here's where we are. And they got rid of Austin Smith, Rafael Montero, and Jose Ruiz. So Montero was hurt a lot, and they got rid of 2 relievers, and now they only have Kinley. They just added a lot of age. So a lot of guys off waivers. Carrasco's off waivers. Fetty was off waivers. Fetty's was statistically one of the worst pitchers in the league. I don't think they got better. I just think they just did some stuff. But nothing really moved the needle. And the Braves look like they're severely out of it. They've given up. It's over. Moving on to the Washington Nationals, picked up 1,000 prospects for Kyle Finnegan, Alex Hall, Michael Soroka, Andrew Chafin, Luis Garcia, and Ahmed Rosario, many of which are one-year contracts. So unloading a lot of these guys, interesting with the exception of Alex Hall, who went to the Dodgers. But there's no one in the big leagues, really. I mean, some of these guys might be in the big leagues now, but there was no big league talent going, so they didn't get any better. They lost like the core of their team, so I don't anticipate them like winning more games as the season goes on. But again, that wasn't the goal. So we're going to see a lot of 4th and 5th place teams in divisions not getting great grades because they didn't participate in the trade deadline in that way, and that makes a lot of sense. And then finally that was last place team. So now we're on to the Milwaukee Brewers. They added Brandon Lockridge, Shelby Miller into the bullpen, Jordan Montgomery, and Danny Jensen to help behind the plate. Now, I think Shelby Miller and Danny Jensen are the big pieces here. They added some depth. I will also throw Vaughn in here. And Andrew Vaughn, he's been huge, even though he was traded for in June. I think that he should be added as one of the smart, savvy moves. So that might actually take this rating up because I didn't have that in mind. And they lost a couple other guys. Nestor Cortez is gone. They're about the same team. I would say they're a B- now with Vaughn. Factoring Vaughn, he adds a lot. He's been great. He's a great pickup. But they really like their core. They really like the group they have. They think they can go far. And by all accounts, they've been doing it. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what they're doing. And I'm okay with this. Chicago Cubs. Another team that needed to do a lot of stuff. They picked up utility guy Willie Castro. Big fan of Willie. He took me deep once. Taylor Rogers, the left-handed Rogers twin, Michael Soroka, and Andrew Kittredge, who was another guy who threw back-end meaningful innings for the Orioles. So they got a bullpen piece. They can throw multiple innings. They got a utility guy who can move around the field. They got another starting pitcher that can help with some depth, and they added a veteran lefty. What did they not do? Get a starting pitcher, and they desperately needed a starting pitcher, and they didn't do it. Very much in the same realm as the Boston Red Sox, and for that, we have to give them a B-. They are better. They added a lot of depth without losing a lot of big league guys. So they added to the group that was already good, and they have movable pieces. But had they added a Merrill Kelly or something, or like a Zach Gallen or like a starter, they would have won one of the starters, or Dylan Cease. This would be an A. This would be an A. They just didn't do it. Which is disappointing. But I do think they are better, and they have a lot more options, a lot more depth in both sides of the ball that they didn't have before, which was kind of plan B. Then we have the Reds. Added Zach Littell, Brian Hayes, Miguel Andujar. And throughout some prospects, Zach Littell, Brian Hayes, Miguel Andujar. I don't hate it. Brian Hayes, controllable. And inexpensive. Zach Littell, solid, eats innings, not too bad. I do believe they are better than they would have been. Are they overwhelming moves? No, it's Cincinnati. But they are better. And they filled in some spots they needed to fill in with some big league, solid big leaguers. And that is a positive. That puts them in a better position to make the playoffs than they would have done before the deadline. Okay? Cardinals. They added a bunch of guys who have the last names of other great big leaguers like Baez and Molina. And Blaze Jordan ended up here. Ryan Helsley, Phil Maton, and Steven Matz went. And so the Cardinals are not as good as they were. They're slightly worse than they were before the deadline. But again, they're in 4th place. They're passing this thing off to Kyle Bloom. Mozeliak is gone after this year. So this is a wait-and-see situation. It could have been much worse, but they got the value they could have without really crushing their team moving forward. They didn't get rid of Donovan. They didn't get rid of Mason Wynn or something. They still have their pieces that they believe will be part of their winning ways in the future. Pittsburgh Pirates, they added a bunch of prospects, and they got rid of David Bednar, Brian Hayes, Bailey Falter, Caleb Ferguson, and Adam Frazier. They got something for these guys. That is not nothing, but what's the plan? What's the plan? I think what's happening right now is that I'm just really disappointed with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that bleeds into every single thing I think about them. So, did they get better at the big league level? No. Did they get good prospects? I hope those guys all pan out and everything works out for them, but something tells me the people who make decisions over there and evaluate talent are wrong like a lot. And I hope for Pirates fans' sake that they're not wrong this time. Sorry about that. All right. Finally, let's get into the NL West because this one's interesting. A lot of stuff happened over here. We got the LA Dodgers first. They added Tibbs III, Serwinski. The big ones were Ben Reutefeldt, Brock Stewart, and Alex Call. They were heavily connected to Stephen Kwan of the Guardians. That didn't happen. It's very clear that Alex Call was the second option there. And we can say, what the hell does that mean? But remember when they traded for Tommy Edman last year and then he was the NLCS MVP? That's all I'm saying. And Brock Stewart is a solid bullpen piece, a good veteran guy that I believe they can optimize. So they added their Ryan Brazier, they added their Evan Phillips. I think that's the way they see him. And Ben Reutefeldt is a quality catcher behind the plate, though Will Smith has been absolutely out of his head this year, so nothing. Kind of underwhelming, but they're expecting, all the MVPs to pick it up and the Cy Youngs to come back off the IL, which is what they're banking on. So Los Angeles Dodgers, a couple pieces, they get a little bit of a boost from that, but they're pretty much the same team. We're going to go to the Padres now. They added Mason Miller, J.P. Sears, Ryan Hurd, Ramon Laureano, Nestor Cortez, Freddie Fermin, and Will Wagner. Whoa. They did have to give up Leo DeVries and then everyone else in the minors. That is probably going to be a problem in the future, though A.J. Preller's done this about 10 times now, and it has not really been a problem. So I don't know how he does it. Cue the he can't keep getting away with this meme, okay? That's an A. You add Mason Miller, who is ridiculous in front of Robert Suarez, and add him to Adrian Morejon, Jeremiah Estrada, and Jason Adam. Like what? Those 5 relievers are, I can't explain it. And then they add Ryan O'Hearn, who's one of the better lefty sticks DHs out there, the platoon. Ramon Laureano, who is a competitor and has had a great year and is very athletic. He can run and he plays great defense. And then they already have everyone else who's on the team. So that team got way, way better. And I think J.P. Sears is a sneaky, back-end guy who just pitches every time he takes the ball. Like in a playoff series, having a J.P. Sears out in the bullpen is going to be valuable. It is. And I'm excited to see what they do. And maybe I'm a little biased because I know some of those guys, and I think they deserve their flowers. So Padres get a big, fat, smelly A's. Sears just got optioned. That sucks for him. I feel bad for JP. I just got news that he got sent down. So that's sad. All right, let's get into the Giants. Buster Posey. They were a seller. They got rid of Doval, Rogers, and Yastrzemski. I believe Mike Yastrzemski and Rogers were both impending free agents. We're going to see what they got. And they got a bunch of prospects back for him, including Jose Butto and Blade Tidwell, who I think they're looking for real impact young pitching. And a lot of the guys they brought up, Hayden Birdsong, Kyle Harrison. These guys they've had in the last few years just have not panned out. They have not got good starting pitching coming in. And I think Blade Tidwell is their big prize here. However, their team is not as good as it was before in the big league level, so they get a C-. Last couple here, Arizona Diamondbacks. Tyler Locklear, that's big league talent. Everyone else are prospects at the moment, but we'll see how that pans out. And they lost Suarez, Kelly, Naylor, Miller, Montgomery, and Grichuk. They got rid of 6 players on their team. So are they better? Do they have a chance to come back and get in this thing? They don't. They have a D. But I think they run their team well. I think they did what they need to do now, but they are not. They are no longer in it. This is a throwing in the towel situation, and the people who've thrown in the towel have D's or F's. And that's just the way it's going to be. We will revisit this in a year or two and see how these things have played out because things tend to get surprising. Guys tend to be in trades you don't think about because there were so many done, and then they become studs later, and then you remember where they came from. So I anticipate something happening in there. But for now, not better than they were. And finally, we have the Rockies. They lost Ryan McMahon, Jake Bird, and Tyler Kinley, and they got 5 guys that I hope are good. I couldn't find it in my heart of hearts to give them an F because they've been through enough. I hope it gets better. Let me know down in the comments / chat whether or not any of these are good or bad. I apologize for some of the information being duplicates. I'm an idiot, but that happens sometimes. And I appreciate you giving me some grace. All right, thanks. See you later. All right, let's get into something else. That's the trades. And that is the trades. Graded. Trade grades from the trade deadline. Let's take a breath. All righty. Oh, it's been a long day. I wanted to do something fun. I had a good idea to do something fun. We're going to do a little bit of breakdowns after this, but this was just something randomly I had, an idea I had on the plane, and then I researched it, and then I decided to do it because I ended up coming up with some really good ones. So, what do you know? Oh, hold on. Let me pull this thing up because I forgot to do it before the stream started, and I have to open up a link. So let me know in the chat. Actually, everyone just write if you're here and you're feeling good, write type a 1 in the chat. Thank you. I see it. Sorry, it's in a document that I have, and I can't click on paper. So we're going to go down. Find it. It's way down here. It's on page 12 of the rundown. Yeah, I am committed to this thing. All righty. Okay, here we go. Oh, there it is. We're going to do another tier maker, and I guess we're going to have every ad on the planet up at the same time of this stupid tier maker. Oh my God, man, this is crazy. These are the best nicknames in the history of Major League Baseball. They are incredible. I guess I got to go ad-free next time because I hate this, and I never want to do this again, but unfortunately, I don't have the ad blocker thing open. So that's what we're going to do. So basically what I did was I went and found about 50 of the greatest nicknames in Major League Baseball history, and I cannot wait to put these in this tier list. We have all-time, iconic, catchy, odd, no, okay? And you're gonna notice some of these, and this was prompted by basically seeing Nick Kurtz's 6-for-6 game the other day and them calling him Big Amish. I think Big Amish is one of the best nicknames I've ever heard, and I loved it. I was like, baseball is a big like nickname game. And there's been some really good ones, especially in the early 1900s. There's been some really, really good ones. And so I thought about how I really, really, really want to do a tier list ranking all these things. So I'm going to see if I can actually pull up the chat here on the side. No, I can't. No. Okay, we don't have the ability to do this. All right. Can't see chat. Cool. Whatever. All right, so we're gonna go through them, and we have some current players, then we have the all-time legends, then we have the notables, and they're all here on the list. So we have the nicknames here. Actually, what if I go and do demo? Demo, and then turn this on. What? Oh yeah, there we go. So let's go into demo mode, let's do this. All right, we're gonna start with Big Amish. This is Nick Kurtz Dude, go over there, please. There we go. We got Big Amish from the Oakland, they're not Oakland, Sacramento A's. Big Amish, that's gonna be, I'm gonna give that iconic. Now, I love it, I love it. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with Big Amish, Nick Kurtz, he is from like central Pennsylvania, where there's a very big Amish community, and I guess he gave like a speech in front of the team early in spring and told a story about the Amish, and now he's Big Amish. And honestly, if you look at him, you're like, yeah, he's big. He's big. Then we have Big Dumper. That is Cal Raleigh, for anyone who is wondering. And I think Big Dumper is also an all-time great, or at least iconic, right? And he has recently entered into a partnership with Porter Potty distributor Honey Bucket. Now, what that means, I have no idea, but that is what I call branding. Additionally, we have Aaron Judge with All Rise. Gonna throw that in catchy. I like it, it's great. I don't think it's like a nickname in the same way. Like, they're not calling him Aaron All Rise Judge. They just kind of say All Rise when he comes in. It's more of a catchphrase than a nickname, and that's why I'm gonna throw it in catchy. Okay, because of semantics. Then we have the Millville Meteor, which is, you guessed it, that is Mike Trout. Now, he's from Millville, New Jersey, and many people don't even know that. We just call him Mike Trout. He's just Mike Trout. He's one of those guys whose name carries much, much more weight than his nickname, and for that I'll just say odd or fine. I feel like odd is just fine. So actually, we're gonna go catchy. We're gonna give him some love. Another great guy, Showtime. For who? Shohei Ohtani. I like Showtime. It gives me the feeling of a professional wrestler. Pretty good. Then we got El Nino. That is who? Fernando Tatis Jr. In the words of Chris Farley, El Nino is Spanish for the Nino. I don't know if you knew that. I love El Nino, the storm, that's pretty great. Then we have Childish Bambino, which is Soto, evidently. Don't know really where that comes from. I understand that Childish Gambino is a rapper name is pretty cool, and they're like it's like something to do with Babe Ruth, but everyone just called him Juan Soto. We got Boomstick, though this guy isn't currently playing. Nelly Cruz was the Boomstick. I like Boomstick because he had lots of home runs. And he was a teammate of mine, and Nelly Boomstick, everyone called him Boomstick. It worked. It was on his gloves and stuff. It was great. Then we have Carita. Now, you guys may have never heard this one, but this is Rafael Devers' nickname, and it literally means tiny face. So anytime you're making fun of somebody, that's my stuff. That's my stuff. I love it. Caritas, tiny face. La Pantera. This is Louis Robert the Jr. And I will say odd because I don't think he should have a nickname yet. I want more. I want more play. I don't think everyone should just have nicknames. I think that the studs should have nicknames. I should have people who are cultural relevant and do relevant things should also have nicknames, but not everybody. Not everyone. And then we have El Mago, which is the Magic Man, which is Javier Baez. And I'd say that's in the catchy. There's going to be a lot of catchies. It's going to be a lot of catchies. And this is just like some of the ones that are out there. There's some other ones that are currently out there. There's a minor league guy called The Password because his name is like impossible to spell. I think that is great. There's some other interesting ones in here which we're going to get into in a moment. Then we have Babe Ruth. We got the Babe, the Sultan of Swat, the King of Crash, the Colossus of Clout. Yes, I am quoting Sandlot. I'd say that's all-timer. I think that maybe it might be the most iconic nickname set of all time. If you have 4 nicknames, you are doing it. We then have Charlie Hustle, which is Pete Rose. All-timer, Charlie Hustle. The guy did the stuff. Stan the Man Musial. Stan the Man, dude. This is like classic pro wrestling. I love it. I'm going to go iconic because Stan the Man, it's not super creative. It's more of like a, come on, he's cool. It's like cool, it's iconic, it's great, but is it one of the best ever? No. Shoeless Joe, he's going to go up there with Charlie Hustle because Shoeless Joe Jackson, everyone knows about him because you've seen Field of Dreams. You know about this one. That's good. Then we have the Say Hey Kid. This is Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. Willie Mays, man, one of the greatest players of all time. That's all-timer. Say hey, kid. Woo! Next up, we have one of my favorites of all time. This is incredible. I didn't know this was his nickname, Sandy Koufax. Sandy Koufax was called the left arm of God. Yeah, dude, that's sick. That is so sick. What? If someone goes, hey man, you're the left hand of God, left arm of God, I'd be like, that's nice. That's nice of you to say. Then we have Frank Thomas, the guy with the biggest melon you've ever seen, the Big Hurt. I love it. It's catchy as hell. I wouldn't quite put in the iconic. You can yell at me if you want. It's pretty good. I like it. But it's kind of like, it's got like the Big Show feel. And you notice that I am equating a lot of these to WWE nicknames. It's because that's what they are. I love walkout songs. I love walk-up songs for hitters. I love atmosphere when people are entering a baseball field or exiting. I just think all that stuff needs to be, we need more of it, and nicknames are part of that. Big Hurt is good. Arguably iconic, but it is what it is. Then we have Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Now, Ernie Banks, one of the greatest Cubs of all time. But I got to be honest. I'm sorry. I know this is going to ruffle feathers. But Mr. Cub is the most boring thing I've ever heard. Like, just saying, he's our best player. Like, I know you guys guys, don't disrespect Ernie Banks. I'm not saying anything about Ernie Banks. I'm just saying they could have given him a better nickname. Like, you really want me to put Mr. Cub with the left arm of God? Save it. Save it. Also, Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn. I get it. I understand why we're doing it, but it's lazy. This is the team I'm on. It's just lazy. Come on. Let's give him something a little bit better, right? Let's give him a little juice. I want to change this off of odd. We're going to go with fine. It's just fine. It's just T-fine. Mr. October, that's fine. That's good. And no, I'm going to go with iconic simply because it is an example of when he is the best. You do not want to face this guy in October. It strikes fear into the heart of his enemies, and he backed it up in October. He earned that nickname, and it wasn't just like Mr. A's. It was Mr. October. This is your time to shine. Everyone should be afraid of you. Then we have Catfish Hunter. I'll be honest. That's just what I know him by. Don't even know what his real name is. His real name is actually James Augustus Catfish Hunter. His name is James Augustus Hunter. Honestly, if he went by Augustus, I would like that more. But I do like Catfish. It is good. It's fine. It's good. We all remember. But he literally went by it. Kind of like, that's like saying Marcus Mookie Betts. Mookie is the nickname. That would just also be fine. Okay? Moving on. Nuxie. This is Phil Niekro, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, knuckleballer of all time. And Nuxie, I like it. That's catchy, and that's a teammate nickname. I love it. But Nuxie, I mean, it is what it tells you. It tells you what it is. Explains away. Then we had Mad Dog, or more commonly known as the Professor. That is Greg Maddux, Mad Dog Maddux, or the Professor Maddux later in his years. I love that. That's iconic, especially for my generation. That one means a lot to me. Now we have a bunch more, so I'm gonna really quickly run through these because some of these are freaking crazy, and I'm so excited to get to them. All right, so real fast, Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, Iron Horse, iconic. Oh God, what a guy! Lou Gehrig, one of the greatest players of all time. We got Three Finger Brown, and his full name was Mordecai Peter Brown. Dude, you calling yourself Three Finger when you can go by Morty? Come on. That said, that's iconic. That's an iconic name. 100% iconic. We got Ken Griffey Jr., the kid. You know, he made this thing cool. That's a big deal. The kid. He's up there, and he's up there for me for sure. The Mad Hungarian, Al Roboski, the guy who like walks out and had a Fu Manchu, and he would like look out to center field and go, "Let's go," like they do in Major League. Ricky Vaughn actually stole that from Al Roboski. I love the Mad Hungarian as a name. That's iconic. Like the Mad Hungarian, you kidding me? That's sick. Then we have A-Rod, fine, Alex Rodriguez. We got Big Papi. We're gonna go into iconic there. Big Papi's pretty damn cool. The Big Unit. One of the greatest power pitchers of all time, and I think that represents him being one of the greatest power pitchers of all time. We got Chuck Nasty, Charlie Blackmon. It's fine. I like it. Uncle Charlie, the curveball himself, Adam Wainwright. That's pretty catchy. And St. Louis Cardinals will always remember him. He is going to be an all-timer for them. We got the Machine. I'm not the Machine. Iconic, dude. Albert Pujols, the Machine. Some of those ESPN commercials were absolutely amazing, and I'll remember them forever. Forever. We have Bringer of Rain. Think what you want about Josh Donaldson and what he may or may not have done to or for your team. Bringer of Rain's pretty badass. That's just a badass nickname. I would do anything to be called that. We have the Human Rain Delay. Mike Hargrove for how slow he moved. That is not a nickname you want, though I do like it. I'm going to give him a no because someone's got to go in that category, and that is not a good nickname. You do not want to be known for being so slow to pitch the ball. We have the Penguin, Ron Say. The Penguin is pretty funny, so I'm going to give it a catchy. Kind of mean, probably, but I give it a catchy. And then we have Scrabble. Now, if you don't know who Scrabble is, this is Mark Zipsinski. He was a lefty. He pitched for the Guardians. He pitched from 2005 to 2015, and his last name is spelled Rzepczynski. As you can imagine, Scrabble, if that were a Scrabble word, it would be worth a lot of points. And that's why it's called Scrabble. And now you know. All right, we're going to rapid fire. So these are legendary ones. Some of these are incredible. I'm going to try to say a name. We have the Cobra, Dave Parker. He won the first ever home run derby and also just got inducted in the Hall of Fame posthumously. And he wrote a great poem for his son to read. So go watch that if you had it. Catchy as hell, the Cobra. The Cobra that's iconic. That is sick. The Cobra is a sick ass name. And I'm imagining him in like a karate outfit to call himself. It's just sick. It's just sick. Then we have the Bullpen Baron. That is Elroy Face, the Bullpen Baron. Catchy as hell. Don't know what it's from. Don't know why he has it, but I like it. We have the Toy Cannon, who is Jimmy Wynn. Dude, another just iconic nickname. We're going to throw that in catchy as well. The toy cannon is sick. I don't think he was a very big guy, so I think that's where it came from. Then we have Hammerin' Hank. And as you can imagine, that is Hank Aaron, one of the greatest home run hitters, one of the most prolific players of all time. Hammerin' Hank is an all-time iconic nickname. Here's an interesting one between Lloyd Wainer and Paul Wainer. Both played from 1926 and 27 to the 1940. They went by Little Poison and Big Poison, which I think is sick. I'm pretty sure they are brothers or cousins. I looked it up, couldn't find a lot, but nicknames sick. Now that's a pro wrestling duo that I'm imagining. Tag teaming in, fighting each other. They wear this similar mask. One's blue, one's green. One of them can shoot a snake out of his hands and pull him back. No, wait, is that Mortal Kombat? I think I'm getting off track here. Moving forward, we have the Flying Dutchman was Honus Wagner. Iconic. We have the Count John Monefusco. I think it's because his last name sounds like Monte Cristo, so that's fine, I guess. We got Country Willie Stargell. Catchy, I like it. Big country, I totally get it. Willie Stargell, for all intents and purposes, was a big human, so that makes a lot of sense. We got Wizard, or the Wizard of Oz. That's Ozzie Smith, and that is iconic. The Wizard, he was one of the best defensive players, best hands of all time, still unanimously known, freak athlete. Then we have two guys that shared a nickname, and one was called the Rat, or G-Man, and the other one was called the Rat, and that's Gary Gaetti and Kent Herbeck, both teammates on the Minnesota Twins' most recent World Series 1991 team, and both, I believe, still live in Minnesota. Gary Gaetti might have passed away, but catchy, I like them both. The Rat, probably not the best one, but we got Squirrel over on the Mets, so I guess we got there. And then we have Spaceman as Bill Lee. Spaceman Bill Lee. He recently threw a pitch at like 100 years old for the Savannah Bananas. We're going to give him a catchy. We're going to go Man of Steel, and you see how steel is spent. This is Ricky Henderson, and that is iconic. The Man of Steel, S-T-E-A-L. Yes, Ricky. Ricky says yes. We got Mr. Clean, which is Steve Garvey. That's iconic. I love that. Clean. We got The Needle, Johnny Pesky. The Needle, catchy. When a guy's called Pesky, he needles, he's annoying, he's pesky. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Then we got Crime Dog, Fred McGriff. And you know what I'm going to do? This is all-timer simply because there was a commercial in the 90s for a program that we don't want to talk about for like making your Little League players better, which it turns out that guy was giving the Little Leaguers steroids and that was getting better. But it opened up like this. We had Fred McGriff wearing his hat like this on his head for some reason. He was like, "Hi, I'm the Crime Dog, 5-time All-Star, Fred McGriff." Like that's how he started it. He's like, and Tom Amansky will teach your kids how to be the best, or whatever it said. And that just stuck with me. 5-time All-Star, Crime Dog, Fred McGriff. And that is all-timer because I saw a commercial a bunch when I was a kid. And then a few last ones here. We got Terrific Tom Seaver. Mets fans, this is for you. That's all time. One of the greatest pitchers of all time, Tom Seaver. The Straw Man, that is Darryl Strawberry. We're going to give that an iconic. Because again, come on. No, I'm going to throw that into catchy. I like it, but it's a play on his last name. We got the Big Cat, Andres Galarraga. Now, if you don't know about Big Cat, go look up that guy's career. It's incredible. He played forever. The Big Cat, I played against a kid when I was growing up. They called him Big Cat. They look very similar. He had lots of home runs. So I love that one. I'm throwing that into iconic. We have the Sandman. That's Mariano Rivera. But I will say, I'll give him an all-time because he is the greater and he came out to enter Sandman. But I'm really tired of giving him so credit for Sandman stuff when he didn't really care about that song. He didn't choose it. They gave it to him. And he's all this association of Metallica and he just doesn't really care about Metallica. I think that's important to be part of this. So, and also, I think he's more commonly known for Mo. So, but he is Mariano Rivera. He's the greatest closer of all time. So I got to give it to him. Last few, we got Bij or Killer B. This is Craig Brigio, and that is just that's a fine. We got Boom Boom, Walter Boom Boom Beck. Okay. We got the Mahatma, which is great also. I like that a lot. The Mahatma is Branch Rickey. So the Mahatma, I don't really know what it means, so we're going to put it in fine. But the Mahatma is Ricky Branch, if you don't know who Ricky Branch is, he is the guy who brought over Jackie Robinson to the major leagues and also was responsible for the helmet being implemented in major leagues. If you didn't know that, now you know. And I guess that has something to do with the Mahatma. And then we have the Yankee Clipper, or Joltin' Joe. This is Joe DiMaggio, and that is an all-time nickname. Then we have the Lip, Duke Snyder. You know why I called him that? Huge dips. I put him somewhere. I think he's in Catchy. Yes, Catchy. I like that. It's good. We got Pudge. That's an iconic one. This is Ivan Rodriguez. And then we got Chairman of the Board, or Whitey Ford, or Slick or Whitey. Whitey Ford, Chairman of the Board. It rhymes, and it is an all-timer. There is another one on here that for some reason did not get picked up, and I don't know where it went. But there's a guy who went by the name of the Naugatuck Nugget. And I can't even remember his name, but I do think that is one of the greatest nicknames I've ever heard. So this is the nicknames and them ranked. Let me know what you think, because I think they're all right, and I think that you don't know what you're talking about, because I do. Alrighty. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. All right, bring me in here into large. Let me turn this off. Bang. All right. Whew, where's the chat at? Where are you guys at? I miss you. Sorry I couldn't do both those things at once. Where's the big hurt? It was in there. It was in there. The wound socket rocket. Dude, there's good. Pudge is good. Mahatma means great soul in Sanskrit. Thank you so much. Now you know. Now you know. All right, we got some internet stuff, and then we're gonna do AMA, and I'm gonna go a little bit past again. Joltin' Joe is also Mr. Coffee because he was the dude for the Mr. Coffee machines in the 70s. I didn't know that. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, some fun stuff happened on the internet this week, and I really want to touch on it real quick. We had the Portland Pickles, which is another one of these circus kind of performances, but on a baseball field. No shade. Sorry, we had a question. Before we get into the Portland Pickle stuff, sorry about that. We got a question from Branch. Again, Branch, you make it in. You're always making it in. You're asking great questions. Both players currently best investigated their Guardians relievers. This is in terms of, this was in the Discord. So if you want to drop a question in the Discord, never have it answered, you can join that. That is Trevor. Exclamation point Discord in the chat, and it will come up with the link. Obviously, it may be Guardians' problem, but is there a chance that relievers specifically be made more at risk for falling into gambling schemes than other players, specifically to lower salaries, more random play time, inherent volatility in the position? Short answer, yes. I think that relievers are going to be more exposed or more enticed to do this thing, one, because of how crazy and like volatile, like you mentioned, or unpredictable the positions they're in, the situations are, and the things that can happen are. So they can't really control things, so that there's a lot of plausible deniability built in. Two, they're paid the least. They are. They're the lowest paid player on the team. Not that they're not making enough money. I don't think that's a good excuse, but it is hard to look around and see everyone else making more than you. And it can feel thankless as a job in the context of everyone else you're around. And so that could factor in. But I think what it comes down to is how easily it is to deny or have plausible deniability. Like, I didn't do that. I was just pitching. Like, what do you mean? This happens all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. And I think that makes relievers a little bit more maybe vulnerable to this kind of, if rigging is happening, or you're being approached by bet makers, or you're being approached by gamblers that want you to do a certain thing, that they would probably be more likely than maybe other situations, because you are a pitcher, you have the ball, but bad things happen every day to relievers. Is it good? No. Is it right? Absolutely not. But I think you make a good point. All right, now let's talk about the Portland Pickles. Portland Pickles are the Northwest version of the Bananas. They brought a fan out from the stands, and the fan went deep in his second AB of the day. They brought him in to be the DH. He literally went deep, and that was a good swing. He's wearing shorts. He's got cleats on, though, which is interesting, almost as if this might have been staged. Either way, though, the guy was actually pitching to him. He wasn't lobbing it in there. It was 3-2. He walked his first AB. So, I mean, I think they're bringing a guy who can hit a little bit, sure, but they did not. No one anticipated hitting the home run. So that is crazy. It was actually in a game. So that's why it's insane. Though they didn't just pick a random person. What I'm trying to say is the person they chose wasn't random. I think they found someone who's good at baseball. They didn't just grab a dad. They grabbed a guy who they thought might actually be able to do something. And then he just happened to do the best thing there was. So I loved it. I thought it was great. And hats off to the Portland Pickles. Next, the Marlins. Though I can't play the sound for you because we'll get copyright struck. They're playing Sweet Caroline here as they're about to sweep the Yankees. And that, in my opinion, is an ultimate troll. And you know what? I'm going to give the Miami Marlins a little bit of break on this one because not a lot goes in their way ever. And the Yankees haven't had a losing season in like 40 years. So I know it's tough in Yankeeville, but seeing a little trolling, playing their rivals' win or happy song, I think was a nice little touch. So, boom. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, we got Pat Murphy here from the Brewers, and he busts out what we call a pocket pancake. He is literally doing an interview live, and he has a pancake in his pocket, and the person interviewing him decides to have a bite of that pancake. Now, do I blame anyone for having a pancake in their pocket? Nah, fam. They make good pancakes. I can attest. Pancakes actually in Milwaukee are very good. But for her to just take a bite out of someone's pocket is kind of crazy. But he kind of just put her on the spot, so I don't blame her. Anyway, that's crazy. That's crazy. I like a lot of different things during the game, said Murphy. There's a pancake. Actually, I got a little pocket pancake here that I'll munch on. All right, Pat. See you later. Also, we're not supposed to eat in the dugout. Maybe that rule doesn't exist for the Milwaukee Brewers. Lucky. All right, last couple quick things and we'll get into our AMA. I believe we have another question coming up soon, but I will get to that if not. We have our crazy fact of the week, and it comes to you via me. There is a rule on a ground rule triple. There is a rule on the books in Major League Baseball that allows a ground rule triple to be possible. If a player uses his hat to stop a ball on the ground or in the air, it is a penalty of 3 bases. Fans going for foul balls in the stands are thankfully exempt from this rule. Get it? So, if we can get honestly, the only guy I can ever imagine trying this was be Adrian Beltre. Like a ball's going to go past him down the third baseline. He throws his hat to knock it down and he knocks it down. That's an automatic triple. So technically, that can happen. I'll be honest, until right this minute, I did not know that. So thank you, Henry. Great find. Really, really cool little fact. Ground rule triple. Who would have thought? And in our final little segment for you, this is Numbers for Normies, where I teach you about a statistic that you didn't know about. Numbers for Normies. Today we have LI, or leverage index. And you've probably never heard leverage index. I honestly don't even talk about leverage index that much, but this is one of my favorite measures, or at least starts to build one of my favorite measures for how good a reliever is. So the reason this statistic is actually really important is because it's a big factor in free agency and in arbitration now. So when relievers come in and they say, hey, I am like that guy, but my leverage index is much better, meaning I was being put into positions where the leverage was higher than him. I was being put into bigger spots than him on this team. So how I performed in those spots is more valuable, even though WAR doesn't show that, because WAR sucks for relievers. It sucks and I hate it. So this is a much better, one of the much better statistics used to talk about hitters or talk about relievers. And this is what it is. It's merely an attempt to quantify the pressure so that we can determine if a player has been used primarily as high leverage or low leverage. What it tries to do is just tell you, this guy was under pressure a lot, and he still pitched. So that just adds a different weight to all his other stats. So if you know this, if you're like, this person put in leverage a lot, and he pitched really well, he can handle leverage really well. There are guys that don't handle leverage really well. For example, Ryan Stanek is an example. I pick on him a lot. I hope I didn't, but he's a great example. When his leverage index is really high, he is historically not as good as he is when it isn't. There are certain guys that do that, right? That happens, which knowing this gives a better context of how they're being used as a pitcher. So you're not just like, oh, this guy's got 20 holds, but every single hold was a 3-run hold, or every single save they were up by 3, or every single save was like a multi-innings, like they weren't like 1-run saves ever, right? Those are higher leverage index numbers. So the way this is used, it's just weighted based on like what the chances are that the lead is blown, basically. So the closer the game is matters. If it's tied, it's really high. If you come in and there's less than 2 outs and there's guys on second or third, it's really hard to get out of that situation. 0 outs with bases loaded is the highest leverage index you could possibly have, stuff like that. So you get numbers attached to the different situations. It's pretty simple, and it's broken down and pretty standard across the board. And a stat we'll talk about in the future is called clutch, and that is built off of leverage index. So I just wanted you to know leverage index exists, and it explains how much pressure a reliever was under when they pitched, generally. That is what the number is for. It's not perfect, none of them are, but a guy with a 0.5 leverage index is much different than a guy with a 2. And you can find this stat on Fangraphs if you're interested. And now you know, again. It's clutch for pitcher in MLB The Show. Yes. Yes, it is. That is exactly what it is. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. 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 Okay. That concludes this part of our show. So let's get into some AMA, and we'll start off with an Agathor question. Do team flights have movies on them? No. We do not watch flight movies because we don't have monitors. Everyone has their own devices. So you're responsible for bringing in your own movies. Now, buses sometimes do, and the minors, every once in a while, they'll throw on a movie for you because whatever, because the manager wants to watch it, but not on the plane. But my favorite movie we watched on one, I think we watched Alien once on the plane or on the bus, which was sick. And everyone was watching it. Like everyone was like, whoa. And a lot of the Latin guys had never seen it. So they're like, dude, what is this? And it was pretty intense. It was pretty awesome. So I would say Alien was probably the craziest movie we watched on the bus. It was also scary. They had it cranked up. Like no one could sleep. I don't know. It was good. It was good. It was like we had like a sleepover as a team. That's one of the ones I remember. But no, team flights don't have movies. It's up to you to bring what you have. Do you have Wi-Fi? Yes, we do, though. It worked maybe half the time. All right, let's open it up for some questions because I want to get into some Q&A. Yeah, we're gonna go for a good 10 minutes here, Q&A. Remember, if you subscribe to, if you do a paid subscription to the Substack, you're gonna get all of my videos free. There's gonna be early for YouTube. You're gonna get special content coming out soon, especially when my travel to the East Coast ends after this year, or this week, and I have more time to work on some special stuff. I just need to film because I have lots of editors, and we're kind of good on that side of things. But that's going to happen. If you choose to subscribe, though, you can ask questions directly to me via DM, and I will not only talk to you about it in the DM. Now, bear with me, guys. If I don't sit there and have a full conversation with you for an entire day, that's going to be very hard to maintain. But I will try to answer your questions to the best of my ability, and you might just make it, your question will rather, make it into a special Q&A type video moving forward. And I'm also kicking around an idea, just on the side note here, of doing a playback.tv stream. Now, I don't know if you guys know what playback.tv is. It's a pretty new platform, but it's for watch parties for people who have subscriptions to the sports apps. So if you have an MLB.com or an MLB app subscription where you can watch other games, I can broadcast watching the game with you and like put the game up and then like bring up my screen and like talk through things and like be an additional broadcaster, which I think is so fun. I've been trying to figure out a way to do watch parties. So there's a chance that I do that soon. The channel I made is called Mayday. So you can go search it. I think I have something tentatively planned for next Friday, a day game. Just try it out and just do it right here. I think it'd be fun, but we'll see. That might be a thing we do, especially maybe even going to the playoffs. So Amazon Prime had something with that with Twitch. They didn't. They did only for the Amazon games that they tried a couple times MLB, but they do it with the NFL and stuff because they have deals. But MLB doesn't have a deal with Amazon. So, but they do have a deal. So NBA, NFL, and MLB all have partnerships with Playback.tv. More you know. It seems cool. It seems really cool. And I've always wanted to do like my own tank on a commentating, like watch party breakdown. And if you have, unfortunately though, it's only for people with an app subscription. So in order to watch it, you'll have to log in. But it's better for nothing, right? So anyway, let's get into some Q&A. So all you got to do is ask in the chat, and DK will grab those questions, and they'll pop up on screen, and we will answer them. So I'm reading your chats. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Question for later. Do you think Devin Williams has pitched himself out of a QO? Still in line for Edwin Diaz? Oh, you pitched himself out of a QO qualifying offer? I don't think the qualifying offers aren't, so getting offered a qualifying offer isn't like it is good, but it's not what you want. You want a multi-year deal going to free agency. So like Devin Williams getting a QO wouldn't be the best case scenario. It would be not the worst case, it's definitely plan B though. So I think either way, the team will use that as he either leaves and takes his chances and they get a pick, or they get him for 1 year. So maybe he's pitched bad enough, but again, I need to be very, very honest with you. For like the last 20 or 25 appearances, he was good. And then he's had a couple clunkers at a really bad situation, or not even clunkers, just like close. One was a tie game, one was a one-run lead. Like he didn't have a comfortable lead, and they were just homers. Got him, right? There were one swing, he was right. And I can't, like no one was talking about how good he was before that. And he was good for a while. So yeah, sure, he's not as good as he was. He's not been as effective as he has been. But he also, I believe, is better than his stats have showed too. So no, I don't think he's pitched his way out of a QO. I think that's still on the table. Now, getting the Edwin Diaz deal, absolutely, he's pitched his way out of that. 100%. Boone needs to be fired. Maybe. There's an accountability problem, and he is a player-first coach, and it has worked for him in the past. I don't think he's a bad manager. I think he does as good as he can do with what he has. And I think a lot of these mistakes are on the players. It's their fault, most of it. But sometimes you just got to make a change. Sometimes maybe someone needs to rule with an iron fist. Maybe that's what they need. I don't know. But I'm just, when it comes to firing guys, like the idea of firing a manager or anyone because of optics is just stupid. It's really dumb. It's weak. It's a really weak reason. But if you're like, we don't like how you're managing, we don't think you're making good decisions, or we have a game plan and you're just not doing it, now that's fire him. If he's making bad decisions, putting people in the wrong place, and not holding anyone accountable that needs to hold accountable, if that's your reasoning, that's cause. But if it's just like, we have to fire somebody, don't just fire people for that. It doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't do anything. So that's all I have to say about that. Devin has been trashed for 97% of trees. Yeah, I get it. You're a Yankee fan, and if you throw zeros 9 out of 10 times, you're bad 97% of the time. I got it. Thoughts on Padres deadline? I gave him an A. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen. in terms of what they needed to do to be good this year, now will Leo DeVries backfire on them? Possibly, right? Possibly, but we don't know how the prospects are. But in terms of like, we need to be better this year to make a true run, they did everything they possibly could, and they did it great. Who is the coolest car among your teammates? Carlos Carrasco always had the best cars. He's a car dude. He always had great cars. Donaldson had some good stuff too, but of anyone I ever played with, Carlos Carrasco had the most iconic cars. He had like a custom G-Wagon he drove every day. I believe he had like a couple Porsches, not a Lambo, I think. Now, he didn't drive these to the field very often, just once in a while. The G-Wagon was the daily drive. But some guys just love cars. Unfortunately, I never was into them. That's a very expensive habit to have. Tony Clark was a guy, actually, who was big on cars. Vance Worley used to restore cars. Justin Verlander, though, might have the best car collection in the major leagues. Trevor, tell me things are going to be okay. Shay, things are going to be okay, but no one's going to blame you for being like, you know what? I'm gonna step away from this abusive relationship, at least for the rest of this season. I think I'm just gonna be hands off. I'm gonna try to watch other baseball and find some positivity. Maybe find some joy in watching your favorite players do well for the teams they're on. I know that's hard, but like, if you got to be a Phillies fan now for a little bit because Max Kepler's there and Duran's out there and Bader's there, like, and that makes you feel some joy, do it. But you're going to be okay. I can say this with complete and total honesty, and I do believe this. I still think that the front office and the coaching staff there are very, very good at what they do, and that the team is not going to be horrible for a while. It's going to be competitive. Maybe not as competitive, and there's still going to be some time here, but they got some good pieces, and they know what they're doing. They know how to get the best out of the players, even with all this crap. That I don't like how it happened, and I think they really hurt their fans. But I also think that the team's not just going to be horrible. This is it seems like a teardown beyond all teardowns, but I do believe that they're going to be better. I think they got a better haul back than you think, though you got to get used to those players and stuff. So I understand the emotional connection is lost and that lean into that, but in terms of the Twins being a competitive baseball team, it's not going to be as long as you think it is. So. Have you ever played as yourself in MLB The Show? Go to Trevor May Gaming, the YouTube channel. Yes, a lot. I'm all over that thing. I even made myself as a creative player, like as I believe I would be had I not pitched. All right, let's get a few more in here. What stadiums did you dislike pitching in? I've heard a lot of people thought Oakland was like throwing from center field. I liked Oakland because it was also like hitting in the Polo Grounds. So it was really hard to give up homers there. I did enjoy pitching there. Though the park that I was the most comfortable in for whatever reason was US Cellular in the south side of Chicago. Maybe it's because I was pitching against the White Sox, but I was always comfortable there. I was always had great velo there. Since Citi Field's up there. Citi Field's up there in terms of comfort. I really loved pitching there. It was big enough, but I felt like you're really, really in the show. I disliked Tampa. I hated Tampa. I hated just Tampa's just general feel everywhere. I never felt good there. Not one time was like, ooh, I feel dialed in or I feel like sharp. I felt like I was pitching in a warehouse. I didn't like it. And also, I didn't like Texas, the new Texas stadium very much because it was weird, but I only pitched there once. Red Sox are 23-7 in the last 30. Does the Trevor Devers trade look a lot less bad now? Oh, 100%. 100%. As of right now, the Red Sox won the Devers trade. As of right this minute, they did. I still think long-term they're not going to. But now, they did. And I think that Craig Breslow deserves some credit. It's a scary thing just dropping a dude who you just paid $300 million. It's scary to do that as a new GM. It is. But Fenway also is going to affect him a lot. Do I think Rafi Devers is as effective as he's been now lately in San Francisco? No, he's a better hitter than this. Is it going to decline a little bit? Yeah, maybe a good, but he's still going to be a good hitter. Still going to be a good player. But yeah, his defense is going to become much more glaring, and he's going to have to figure out different ways to hit, for sure. So, do you think the Brewers are luck merchants, or does their front office know something about production that most front offices in general public don't? They have a good system. They have a really good system. Everyone there worked with Stearns. They're still there. Pat Murphy also knows how to implement it. They know what they're doing. And Pat Murphy was there with counsel too, who was doing the same thing. So like, I think that system, they have it tight, they have it locked in. I think their owner is engaged enough. I think they operate within their bounds well and they don't make excuses a lot. Also, their fans, like, they don't spend a ton of money, but their fans don't seem to loudly complain about that too much either, because they find ways to win. But at the end of the day, they churn out relief pitching like it's frickin' their job. They have a pitch. They know what they're doing pitching wise. They know how to develop these guys, man. They are very good at that, and it's kind of nameless. We don't know the names of these guys, and it's interesting. But I think they know. It's not that I think they know something. I just think they are committed to their process, and their process works. That's what it comes down to. I think that other people see the same things. I just don't think they're good at getting those things to happen. I think the other teams I think this guy is just as good the same way, but they're not as good as getting that guy happen. And the Brewers have this track record. Now, the longer you do it, the better you do it, the more likely people are going to want to go there. So, what is your most consumed in-game snack or food during games in the pen and in the dugout? For a long time, it was dried mango. That was a problem. Those give you the poops. Probably Stinger waffles. They're like Stroop waffles. Either they're REI, hikers eat them. They're like $5 a piece, which is a joke, but they're like pure carb happiness. Cheez-Its are a big one. Like literally like crackers and stuff that's like really simple carbs, really quickly gives you energy. Those type of things. Dried fruit would be a big, I love dried fruit. It's close to candy, so I have a problem. But I'd say Stinger waffles are the next one. Or even like Cliff Bar, something like that. Something like that. What happens if you need to pitch, but you really need to use the restroom? You just do it. I pee like 1,000 times during a day out in the bullpen. Like I pee like every half inning. For one, I'm nervous. Two, I'm way overhydrated. I have a hydration issue. I get rid of water really fast. And I sweat. I have very salty sweat. So I had to stay hydrated. I had to drink a lot of stuff, which made me pee all the time. But like once you decide to go in the game, your adrenaline takes over and your body cannot pay attention to having to go to the bathroom anymore. Like you just don't notice it. You literally don't, you shut it off, and then right when you're done, you get relief, and then you have to go so bad. That's what happens. That's what happened with me. So, dried fruit has so much sugar. Yeah, but it's the stuff that the sulfur stuff does, like the sugar. Like you can get the stuff that doesn't have the sugar the preservative on it, that has way less sugar. But fruit in general has less sugar. Anyway, put that one up again. I missed it. My bad. How likely do you think it is the Mets turn it around at this point? 1 second. I have a question that I need answered. How likely is it that the Mets turn it around? Let me check real quick. Standings. They're 2-8. They lost 4. They're 63-52, and they're 2.5 games back. Likely. They're just not very good on the road. They're so good at home, though. It's crazy. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be there. They're still not. It's the dog days. We are in the dog days. So one thing you need to know: in August, when teams have had players play every game all year, this is when things kind of. You slog through August. You gotta hold your head above water. You gotta bring in fresh meat. You have to have young guys, infuse the team with some energy. You get some guys some rest. That is what August. It happens in August, and everyone it happens. Look at the Tigers are struggling too, and the Yankees are struggling. Like there are teams that are really struggling. They have the talent. in my opinion, they just have to be hot the last 2 weeks going into the playoffs, and they need to have a spot. That's what they need. They need that. The Mets aren't in first, though. They're in second. They're 2.5 back now. They have not been great. They have not been great. What's your opinion on the Roman Anthony extension? Good for the Red Sox. It is a team friendly. I'm always hesitant about team friendly deals. He is a center fielder. Is he a center fielder? He's an outfielder. He's a corner outfielder. But it has escalators another $100 million. So I like that at least he has that. But if you're going to sign a team friendly, sign it in your rookie year and sign it for 8-9 years. And he did that. And so I think it's good for both sides. I think that it's solid. And honestly, that's kind of where our markets are switching. They're going to switch a little bit after, especially when we don't know what 2027 is going to look like. Brewers ain't struggling. Maybe youth helps. 100% does. That's what I said. How's the little guy? He's huge. He's huge. He's crawling. He's crawling on me. He's able to say things like dot 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 like that. He likes to scream in my face, and then I whisper, and then he goes dot 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 dot. But he knows how to say da da. That's it. He hasn't even said a m sound yet, which I think is awesome. So, my little guy, he's doing great. Mads is phenomenal. He's a happy baby. He laughs so hard. I love him. All right. Okay. We are currently out of the questions, so I'm going to go one more, and we're going to go from here. We have, do you know if he's a righty or lefty yet? He's been gripping a lot of stuff left-handed. I don't know what that means. He's 10 months old, so we don't know. 10.5 months old. Thoughts on the Jays? World Series contender or just playing above their capabilities? A little bit of both. They have enough experience to make a run. They have some middle lineup type of studs that can take over a series. I don't know if the pitching's quite there yet. I do think their bullpen's a little bit better than I thought it would be. And they have an infusion of some young guys. But I also think they have some quality players that they're platooning around that are doing a really good job that might be sustainable. But in terms of star power, they don't have the star power as everyone else. Who knows? Shane Bieber comes back. He's a stud. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. We're going to take off. We're going to take off now. We went a little bit past. By a little bit, I mean 15 minutes past because I love you guys and you're very important to me. But I just want to thank everybody. David Cord, Henry Neiman, Caleb Bartholomew. Everyone say thank you, Caleb. He is going to go back to school after this week. He doesn't go back for a couple weeks, but we have a couple days off, weeks off coming up here soon. So do me a favor. Say, thank you, Caleb, for your hard work. Feem and Maddie, thank you for your editing. And Emily Jude, we have some more editors joining as well. So thank you across the board to everyone who makes this show happen. I will be back in 2 weeks with another edition of Mayday. There is a chance that week is also. So we might take a little break here, but at least next week is off. I am going down to California to record a YouTube video on Wednesday. It's the only day that I could do it. So we're going to take a week off. This was already planned for August because August is the slower time, but I will be making videos. So stay tuned, subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure your notifications are on because we're going to have some stuff that I'm recording offline for you there. We got a lot happening over here on this time. Very excited to get to the home stretch here and get into the playoff conversation. I'm Trevor May. This is Mayday. A show about the show. Remember, drink your water, watch your baseball, and enjoy yourself. And I'll see you next time on the next episode of Mayday, right here on Trevor May Baseball. Peace. Why don't I know where this thing is? Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.